These are things that make life worth living. Books mostly, some other things too. Just anything I can think of. This is completely off the dome, no structure whatsoever. Virginia Woolf, To the Lighthouse. I've mentioned Virginia Woolf before. I've mentioned To the Lighthouse before. This book cover is kind of whatever. I've got like a million copies of this. I feel like an angel-like being or deity, a higher deity of some kind, would perceive the world in a kind of poetry. And that's how Virginia Woolf communicates reality, especially in To the Lighthouse. You should read any of her books, but To the Lighthouse is my personal favorite. It's poetic and meandering and hops from psyche to psyche. But the reason that it makes life worth living is because it presents a way of seeing the world. It presents a higher way of seeing the world. This is going to be obscene to a lot of people. But Virginia Woolf is like, if you've ever gotten really stoned and went on a beautiful walk around town or nature, and you're in the perfect headspace and you're noticing everything, the colors and the smells and everything is just, they're all just coming together perfectly. It's almost like that, but not really. It's like, that's not really doing it justice. You could almost say it's like a God's eye view of reality, filtered down to the page. It's hard to explain. You just kind of have to read the book or listen to the audiobook. I truly feel that through Virginia Woolf, you kind of come into contact with the divine to some degree. Look up how she died. It's pretty intense. In this hand, she was holding on to like the one perfect, beautiful oneness connection to something greater and beautiful and infinite. And this side was just like pure sorrow. She was almost certainly bipolar, and eventually the dark side won out in the end. But when Virginia Woolf could connect to that greater wonder and mystical, poetic, perfect oneness, no one was better. And To the Lighthouse has made my life worth living. I've read this book multiple times. Some human creations are truly timeless and transcend the river of garbage that we're floating in, and this is one of those things. Joe Brainard, I remember. He was an artist, poet, writer. This is his art on the front cover. He just sat down and recorded everything he remembered, mostly from childhood. So it's things like this. I remember stories about bodies being chopped up and disposed of in garbage disposals. I remember stories about razor blades being hidden in apples at Halloween, and pins and needles and popcorn balls. I remember stories about what goes on in restaurant kitchens, like spitting in the soup and jerking off in the salad. I remember boat neck sweaters. I remember clear plastic heels with no straps in the back. I remember learning very early in life the art of putting back everything exactly the way it was. Anyway, that's Joe Brainard, I remember. He wrote a bunch of stuff. He was a great artist. He died youngish of AIDS, I think, but he's great. Everything he ever did was great. Kind of like a childlike connection with a deeper reality. Both of these books are about ways of seeing deeply. And speaking of ways of seeing, anything by John Berger. I have a lot of his books. He's most well known for the book and the series and the television series Ways of Seeing. You know what it is. You've watched clips of it on YouTube. But every one of his books, incredibly poetic. They have poems, little drawings. Again, a connection to a deeper reality, John Berger. Lou Reed, anything by Lou Reed. This is a record, not a book. It does come with a really cool booklet. Anything by Lou Reed, The Velvet Underground, anything he ever touched, perfect and great. I don't think I need to talk about it. It's obvious. Just listen to Lou Reed. Everybody knows Take a Walk on the Wild Side. I'm Waiting for the Man. It's all great. Anything by Toni Morrison, of course. Poetic, beautiful observations. Deep God's eye view from the ground up. There's a reason why she was the winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature. The Leopard by Giuseppe di Lampedusa. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's a beautiful book about the inherent unfolding of life. An aging aristocrat in a crumbling Italian castle. A novel of deep ideas. Something weirdly comforting about the book. I've read it, taken notes. Speaking of novels of ideas, anything by Thomas Mann. I hate this book cover. Death in Venice is one of my favorite all-time short story novella. It's really a novella. Anything by Thomas Mann, really. The Magic Mountain. Deep, beautiful, philosophical ideas explored thoroughly. Someday I'll do a whole video about Thomas Mann. Definitely problematic, especially Death in Venice, but really he's one of my favorite writers. Again, God's eye view of the underlying structure of reality. Reading this book, reading any of these books really, or listening to Lou Reed will change how you think. And if we're talking about records, the entire recorded output of Nina Simone makes life worth living. On this album specifically, it's her cover of the George Harrison song Isn't It a Pity? This is a live album. Anything by Nina Simone makes life worth living. But look up Nina Simone, Isn't It a Pity? And tell me it's not one of the most beautiful statements you've ever heard. She's the kind of artist, along with Lou Reed, but especially Nina Simone, that listening to one of her songs is equal in some ways to reading 10 great novels back to back. Really life-changing, beautiful, has made my life worth living. Anything by Raymond Carver. This is Will You Please Be Quiet, Please? It's one of his short story collections. Anything by Raymond Carver is worth reading. You can read everything he's ever written in like 3 days. The beautiful, strange minutia of human interaction. Many people have tried, but no one could write like Raymond Carver. Simple, beautiful, accessible, definitely more accessible than Virginia Woolf, but just as rich. F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby. Of course, they've made a bunch of movies. There's a reason why this book from 1925 is held in such high regard. This book makes life worth living because it's a beautiful portrayal of a human engaging with capitalism. You can tell they're in love with capitalism and they're also disgusted by capitalism, but it's beautifully written. It moves almost everyone who reads it, from lit majors to frat bros. It's a great book, very short. You can read it and reread it, get something out of it every time. I can hear people saying that, oh, well, without capitalism, you wouldn't have any of these things that make your life worth living. To which I would say, if there wasn't capitalism, I wouldn't need any of these things to make life worth living. That's why having these physical totems, kind of spiritual medicine, is so important. So if you're feeling down, pick one of these up or put on one of these records or search them on YouTube, and I guarantee it'll make your life worth living.